Charlie, I want to bring you into this conversation
that was some great TV.
And I quote the president, I don't want to get personal because he had the chairman with him, but you could tell the uncomfortability of the Fed chair there as the commander-in-chief
Powell
squaring off.
Powell with that hat on, and I know I'm dating you because you're a youngster, but it reminds me of Mike Dukakis in the tank with the helmet on, and he looks so weird and uncomfortable. Britt Hume's going to know exactly what I'm talking about if he's watching, and some of the older guys here. So it was a bizarre photo op. It was vintage Trump. Jerome Powell corrected him. And let's look at the numbers, see if Jerome Powell was right or Trump. He suggested that in saying that, I think the number was at $3.1 billion. He's throwing in some building that was already constructed, and so he's adding to it. Trump said, well,
one of the contentions there is you have a president before he decided to become president was a builder that knows how to negotiate the contracts.
That's the best part.
And And he's taking on the agreement and the schedule of the project there. Is Kevin O'Leary ready? Let's bring him in. Kevin O'Leary, you find yourself in moments like this as well, being the business guy. But this is the president of the United States going toe-to-toe with the Fed chairman. What did you make of it?
Well, I know what Charlie was talking about on the Dukakis image out of the tank. It was painful.
We're the same age, unfortunately.
I got to tell you, whacking the Fed is not a good idea, period. And this is a weird situation with this Fed renovation deal. I mean, Trump, he doesn't mind letting people watch sausage being made, and that's what you saw there. But whacking the Fed is not about renovating buildings in Washington. That's a big deal, because what makes financial markets work globally is the understanding of the balance of the independence of the Fed to make these really important interest rate decisions. And they get it right, they get it wrong, but the fact that they're independent is what gives comfort to trillions of dollars that comes rolling into the U.S.
Kevin, they got
every
it wrong
year.
a lot. This guy got it wrong.
I know, it doesn't matter, though, because everybody gets it wrong everywhere all of the time. But the point is, the independence.
This was big. Now, I agree with you on the independence, but I think you have to point out. I mean, this doesn't have to be binary. You can love the Fed's independence and want to preserve it, but we have to be real clear here. Jerome Powell has been a horrendous Fed chair. When you miss inflation like he did, when you tax the American public like he did with inflation, and by the way, you're taxing working class Americans because he allowed so much printing of money and then didn't raise rates later, didn't condemn Joe Biden for spending money like crazy, which was inflationary, got into weird things from the Fed like DEI and climate change. I mean, they're supposed to make sure inflation is low within the confines of employment. They have a dual mandate. It's nothing to do with DEI. You do that, in my view, you're a horrible Fed chair.
Let's have Kevin respond to that. What do you make of that? Has he been terrible? Did he say inflation was transitory? Was his predictions wrong?
I've lived through many Fed chairs. It is the purvey of every administration, every president, to bash the Fed for one singular reason: lower rates, and then point out all the mistakes they made. I get it. Charlie's right on half of those.
No, but those mistakes are all bad.
Let him respond.
But it's not, Charlie, it's not enough to not let him run out his mandate. It's so close to when this whole thing's over and you can swap out a new one. The orderly transition of the Fed chair is the whole deal. That's the whole deal. I don't want any Fed whacking. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for sovereign wealth, not good for what I do as an investor. Listen, this Renault thing is a sideshow. It's crazy what we just watched. I'm glad I was on with Charlie to do it, because we both remember how we had budget.
But to be fair, Kevin, I think the larger argument that the president, and he may be using this as a tool to highlight something here. If you can't manage a building and properly get the numbers there, how can you manage the Fed? And it takes me back in the first term when all the generals were lined up discussing the payment of the plane, Air Force One. Well, they didn't know everything about the plane. The president renegotiates it and get millions of dollars there. I think is he credible?
Yeah,
Last word.
It's hard to have this independence conversation, which I agree with Kevin on, in the context of Jerome Powell, because he's been so bad. When you're this bad, it's hard to say, oh, we should preserve this guy's independence, even though he's completely incompetent. And listen, everything I said Kevin, not just half of it. Everything I said was right. Missed inflation. Lowered rates during the
Charlie,
DEI,
there is no
climate
the
change.
Fed.
He's overspent on this stupid project.
I want y'all to stand by because you know the president. He loves a tour, but he likes to keep the cameras around.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.